That was Koke'e by Dennis Kamakahi about the lovely area up Mauka, up in the hills above Waimea Canyon on Kaua'i. And I'm in the C Wahine tuning with this arrangement. That tuning goes C, G, D, G, B, and E. C, G, D, G, B, E on top. So the song's in the key of C. It uses C, F, and G7 chords in various places. G or G7. We often play C here in low position. We put our pinky down on the 3rd fret of the high string. So practice those 2 chord shapes. We then move very often up to the 5th position and play sort of the equivalent of this shape of C down here. If you were to free up your 1st finger, move to the 5th fret, make it a bar chord. That F chord is going to be used a lot in the song at 5th position. Your pinky will often go on the 8th fret. And the C goes back to the C. We'll also often play a C by doing a bar at 5th fret just on 4 strings. You can play either the high string 8th fret with your pinky or the 2nd string 8th fret. So that motion, the F going back to C, is used a lot in this song. We'll also do various patterns around G and G7 using our C scale and turnaround vamp positions, all in 1st position. So to review that, the 4th string open, 2nd fret and 3rd fret, the 3rd string open and 2nd fret, 2nd string open, 1st and 3rd, and the same fingering on the top string, open, 1st and 3rd. So you have to warm up your fingers before we play this arrangement. See if you can go up and down this scale. Try alternating index and middle finger in your right hand. A C scale on the top 4 strings in open position. The C note would be on the 5th fret of the 5th string. Connect it up at 5, 7, 8 on the high string as well. So that's the basic range of notes that we'll use. A couple times we'll go up to the 12th fret at the end of the song. But in general, we're playing a lot around the 5th position, the F chord and C chord shapes, and then G, 7, and G and C chords in 1st position. So we're going to use an alternate bass pattern throughout the song. The thumb is often in this tuning going to play 5, 4, 6, 4, 5, 4 in the bass. So 6th string to the 4th, 5th to the 4th. Sometimes over a C chord you go 6, 3, 5, 3. Usually G, you're going to play 5, 4 in the bass. When we do alternate bass over the F chord, we're going to be holding this shape down and we're going to go 6, 4, 5, 4, like we did with C. So practice those positions, get your thumb moving, and accustomed to playing these patterns with the chord shapes being held down. A challenge in this song is going to be able to leave some fingers down while melodies move around. You might practice trying to play this F chord. See if you can move your finger on the 8th fret of the high string and the 2nd string, releasing to the notes in the chord below. Even on the 3rd string, you could do this all the way up down the 4th string. Just trying to get that position comfortable while doing a bar chord and moving melody around. Melodies in the 5th position. Okay, let's look at the first introduction. It's an 8-bar intro, and it sounds like this. So what we're doing here is we're playing a C chord, and then G7, a vamp, back to C, G7. We do this basically 4 times for the intro, with some variations. You can come up with your own variations here. But I tried to establish this bass pattern that we're doing and do some runs, like like review your vamps for the C Wahine tuning, and you'll see some of the shapes. They'll look very familiar here. Over the G7 chord, we're going to have some of the motion of those vamps. So in the first measure, we're going to play a C, first fret of the second string, and then an E, the second fret of the fourth string. Hold those two notes down. Okay, arpeggiate. Thumb and middle, thumb, thumb, index, middle. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The next measure, we're going to do this G7, and let the bass note ring for the whole measure. So this very typical walk-up that happens between the fourth string open, going back to that C, using the third string open and second string open. So the phrase goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. You're doing a hammer-on from 0 to 2 and the open string to the first fret. I play this with thumb, index, thumb in the right hand, then thumb again, index, middle, hammer-on, then thumb and middle. Third measure is just like the first, then another variation. Using the intervals of a 6. Use your third finger and your pinky. See if you can really tuck your pinky under the third finger at the third fret before going back to C. This is over G in measure 4. Then back to the first measure pattern again. Then one last vamp. Use your first finger here to the third finger. You're doing a pull off. A to G on the third string, second fret open, then F sharp passing tone, then down, that's fourth fret of the fourth string, and the third fret. All the way to this G7 note, this F on the high string, back to C with a high string. And then we end the phrase with G, just 5, 4, 5 in the bass. So from measure 6, back to C, then the G bass notes, 2, 3. If you want to roll the chord and that last measure before the melody comes in, measure 8, you can go. Or even play it at G7. At this point, the melody comes in. I do a hammer on, then use your pinky. Very important to use your pinky on this third fret, so that first and second finger then can comfortably play the C chord below it. Now we're going to jump in measure 10 up to the F. So you play the bass note, then 4 notes, top 4 strings, thumb, index, middle ring. Then 5th string in the bass, middle finger plays 8th fret with your pinky and the second string. Then thumb and the 6th fret of the second string. I use thumb and index there, going to thumb and middle, back to C. So measure 10, then measure 11, 8th fret, release the bar, and then place it back on just 4 strings. Then put it back to all 6. Chords here, back to only 4 strings of the bar, stays there. Now measure 15, you're going to jump down to 3rd finger. So all the way from 5th position to 1st position, you're shifting the whole hand down to your 3rd finger over a G chord, then open. So there's a lot of motion between this F and C. See how I'm moving my first finger, covering 6 strings and 4, 6 and 4. Practice that F, and then just 4 for C. We're mainly playing the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string here. So for example, if you look at measure 10 into 11, that's where that change happens. And again here, back to this 4 notes, then you stay here, then jump to 3rd finger, 1st position, open strings. Then same thing with the melody. Move up to 5th position. Just 4 strings barred here. Then back to all 6. Just 4. Here you don't even need to do a bar at 21. You could just use your first finger, or even play the 3rd string open. Then a turnaround, which is the same thing we did in measure 4. Same pattern using the sixth. Watch your pinky here. Remember, tuck it right under the third. Get right close to the fret wire. So then there's an arpeggiation that breaks away a little bit from the alternate bass pattern at measure 23 and 24. And that's where the second part of the song comes in, the chorus part. So let's practice that very slowly. Measure 23, 1, then thumb, then middle, index, thumb, index. So I actually drag my thumb across 3 strings there. Thumb, 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 index in the next measure too. So you can actually do these arpeggios with thumb repeating notes. You could use multiple fingers, but sometimes I like to let my thumb just naturally fall across strings, across the lowest 3 strings. So it's like you do a rest stroke, play the 6th string, land on the 5th, play the 5th, land on the 4th, and then do a free stroke off of the 4th. See if you can practice that over the C chord a few times. Then in context, measure 23. Then measure 25, pinky goes all the way up to the 8th fret, and then down 1 fret. Familiar chord shapes here. That 4-note bar, then jump to first position again with 3rd finger. Then we repeat. So let's look at that bridge part again from measure 25, very slowly. Pinky, G7 chord, open strings below it. 1 and 2, 3. Pinky moves up, now play that full bar. You're not playing the full chord, but inside strings. Then now you play 4-note chord. Pinky on the 2nd string, 8th fret, then release back to C, like we did before. Now we're adding the 6th fret, passing tone, then 3rd finger, and measure 31 and 32. Then we're back to our melody, which goes. Just like before. Partial bar, then the same turnaround. Then here, instead of playing with a pinky note, I play the 2nd string open, and then we get to the first ending. So the way that I wrote out this song, it repeats twice. Actually, if you sing the song and play the accompaniment, which I highly recommend to get to know any song, before you play the full arrangement like this, look at the accompaniment section in the lesson videos, and you'll be able to find Koke'e, and you can practice strumming along and playing fingerstyle along with the progression. I want you to memorize this progression. It's one of the great songs in the Hawaiian repertoire. Great for Kapila. So we're going to play all the way through the form that we just did, and then we're going to repeat back. There's a 2nd verse and chorus, and there's even a 3rd verse and chorus. So you could repeat this whole thing 3 times. I just wrote it out repeating once and then going to the 2nd ending. So I just have the 1st verse and chorus, 2nd verse and chorus, and going to the end. So at this point, we've played through the whole form, the verse, verse, chorus, then back to the verse. Ending at measure 38, we're going to look at the first ending here. So we get measure 38, measure 39. We do a C, then playing the 3rd fret of the 4th string. Over that C is called a C sus. Then back. I'm not playing the high string. Inside 4 strings with the bass notes. So the first ending goes 1, 2, and